This is Black Focus, an open discussion, where we talk everything politics, current events, and academic scholarship through the lenses of race, gender, and class. We intend to raise awareness on social justice issues pertinent to the intellectuals of our time and ask that you join us for this conversation.
Hello, and welcome back to This is Black Focus, an open discussion. I want to welcome you all to our second season, Plumb the Depths. On season 2 of This is Black Focus, an open discussion, the first one led by she, that's me, I will be discussing LGBTQIA acronym through the non-binary perspective. And I also will be giving you some tips on how to actually approach these people and have conversations without offending this community. The second one will be by Kenya Harris, and she will be talking about unlearning conditioning and centering the Black narrative through gatekeeping terminology and to empower ourselves and our narrative. Welcome to episode 3, Exploring the Bisexual Community. Alrighty, so I want to take a moment with your friends or by yourself. I want you to first define what bisexual means to you. So whatever definition, there's not a right, there's not a wrong. I just want you to, in your head, what is the first thing you think about when you think about a bisexual individual or when you hear the word bisexual? Alrighty, so now that we've had some time to think about it, I want to give you the definition that I accept and that I want everyone else to start using, or the definition. So the term refers to a person attracted to two or more genders, and I want to focus on gender. This person could be attracted to men and women. A person could be attracted to men and non-binary genders, or a person could be attracted to their own gender and a few of others. So bi is just two, like that's basic Latin, everyone. Like bi equals two. Being bisexual doesn't mean that you have to like women and men, because there's a bunch of bisexual people who like women and trans women, and those are two different type of women. Very much the same womanhood, but two different type of women. And this person is still bisexual. So, and a better example is if we see two women in a relationship, we can't automatically say, oh, they're a lesbian, right? Because one of the women could be bisexual, or both women could be bisexual, or one of the women could be bisexual and the other one could be lesbian. And if we don't have the perspective to unlock and just ask people, about their sexual orientation and their relationship makeup, then we could easily overgeneralize terms and offend people very quickly. So I want to speak on the point of how the sexual attraction will be. So it's not always going to be 50-50, right? So you're not going to always have someone who at all times they're attracted to women and men, and that they're attracted to their two preferred genders that they like, right? So it might be that they go a whole 10 years only being attracted to men or being sexually attracted to men, and then on year 11 all of a sudden we're attracted to this specific group of genders, and that we want to explore that. And that's where we talk about spectrum and identifying with sexual orientation being on a spectrum, and that people have the freedom to really honestly do what they want. And I definitely respect bisexual individuals, especially those who are outright and outspoken about it, because you're not allowing someone to put you in the box and tell you what you like or you don't like. I think a privilege sometimes of being gay is that people understand that I'm only attracted to men specifically. There's a one gender that I specifically like. And so it's not, they could kind of wrap their head around it, I guess, but I'm not even going to say that because they have locked perspectives, but they can still kind of wrap around it, because in heterosexual norms, you're only attracted to one gender or one group. And I think a lot of people can't grasp what it means to be bisexual. And that's when we get to see two important words that we definitely needed to define in this community, and that is going to be with biphobia and also bisexual erasure. So first I want to start with erasion. Erasion refers to the tendency to ignore, remove, or re-explain evidence of being like bisexual or whatever the context is, both in history, media, and everyday activity. So we also see this in a more broader term for people to understand in the Black community when we see whitewashing of the Black community, or when certain events are suddenly, gone, or footage or history that we can't have these documents. Like slavery, for example, we don't have a lot of documents at all. Like, we have these museums that these white people set up, but you made sure you burned or hid a lot of other stuff because you wanted to hide the truth. And so basically, in the context of the bisexual community, we don't really have a lot of good history and context as scholars of notable bisexual individuals and their history and their roles, because a lot of people within the LGBT community and outside of the LGBT community make sure they look over it or definitely have negative perspectives on the community. And then I just want to talk about biphobia is a more conscious negative attitude towards being a bisexual being. And so basically just I don't like them because they're confused, or I don't like them because how could you like both? You need to pick. And that's very much something I hear all the time, especially in the South. People saying I don't understand that. How can you like both? It's one or the other. Decisions. And that's not cute. Decisions, honey, it's a spectrum. Like I said, if I wake up one day and I like me a little poom poom, I like a little poom poom. If I wake up the next day and I want me a little Peter Whacker, I'm gonna give me a little Peter Whacker. So I stand in solidarity. Okay, like what you like, do what you do, but in all of this, make sure that and when I'm saying this, I'm referring to people now, the oppressors and people who have negative perspectives. Even if you don't understand, or you don't even want to if you don't even want to be on the topic, make sure that your perspective and your opinions aren't putting these people in mental health crisis, because it's already hard enough for them to explore being bisexual, and your body telling you, oh, I like this group and I like this group, but my society and my conditioning tells me not to. So that's already a battle, because conditioning is a strong slave master. I'm going to make that very clear. Conditioning is a strong slave master, because I find myself daily sometimes seeing my condition and feeling that anxiety and wanting to give up the fight and not persevere, do that small storm because someone's looking at me weird in the grocery store because I have on feminine, I'm expressing feminine, but you obviously see my chin hair. And I've learned to just be that's who I am. I'm not trying to be a label that conditioning is telling me. I'm not trying to follow one of these tropes. I am she, and I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And if it happens to be drastically different than any other being that has walked this earth before, then it happens to be so. And I'm not going to change it. And so I do just want to say that with this episode, we really need to take away that social conditioning can lead to a lot of mental health problems. And one community that has definitely experienced this firsthand is going to be the bisexual community. And that we also need to stand in solidarity with these people, and we need to actually have talks with these people. But we don't need to have talks in the sense of questioning who they are and what they're doing. We need to have it to where we are listening to what they are telling us, and then we're just going to give them resources to be safe. So especially with this community, you're dipping in and out of communities. We need to make sure we see ourselves in a clinic. We need to make sure that we are on PrEP. These things are very important when we talk about sexual health. And so especially for this community, please make sure that you're up on your sexual health. And then secondly, we need to also, while we're talking to them and getting to know this life, we need to give them the freedom to talk it out without judgment, or to be oh, really that? Or, ooh, I would never do that. Just listen, because you'll learn a lot. And also, if you really love that person and if you want to show love, you're going to hear their narrative without trying to add edits. It's not cute to try to edit people's narratives and tell them what should be in it based off of your preference, especially if you're following the hegemonic patriarchy and social conditioning, baby, because you're definitely the last person to speak on it because you don't even know who you are. So, yeah, that's all I got to talk about today. And if you want to explore some more topics, see me on episode 5, where I will be talking about the, LGBT. We're going to be on the T, and I support my T.
Thank you for joining This is Black Focus for another open discussion. We hope you enjoyed today's dialogue and encourage you to engage in the conversation by following our Instagram at This is Black Focus and our Twitter at We Are Black Focus. Here you will find updates for future podcast conversations and even be able to give input on what they are. For business inquiries, feel free to email us at blackfocuscollective@gmail.com and tune in every week for a new episode.